Hey guys, what's up? It's Noelle. Welcome back to my channel. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. It would help a lot and I'd appreciate it. Today's video is going to be another nursing video. So I haven't done a nursing video in a minute. One of my most popular videos is actually one of my first nursing videos ever, right after I got a concussion my first day back to work. I still get a lot of questions on that video about college. Is it hard? The nursing schedule, and then some NICU questions as well. So I thought I would just do an updated NICU nursing video, focusing more on just the nurse's schedule and a little bit of college. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first topic I want to talk about is a nurse's schedule. Nurses work 3 out of 7 days of the week. We work 12-hour shifts. Unless you're in like the OR or outpatient, you'll have more like 9 to 5 regular hours. But generally, most nurses work 12-hour shifts. You can either work day shift or night shift, or some hospitals when you first start out as a new grad nurse will make you work rotating shifts. Generally, the rotating shifts, meaning you'll work both days and nights, they try to space them out by week. So you'll work like 3 weeks or a month of day shift, and then you'll switch to night shift and go back and forth every month or so. And that will kind of be your schedule. Not ideal. Well, actually some people like it, but for me, I didn't like going back and forth. By the end of my like first or second year, my hospital would make me work day shift and night shift within the same week, which is brutal. Not very nice of them, but it is what it is. And as a new grad nurse, you kind of get the short end of the stick, and you get kind of like the worst shifts where they need staff, and sometimes that's the case that you have to rotate. So in terms of each shift, day shift, you would start at 7 a.m. And go to 7 p.m. Night shift, 7 p.m. until 7 a.m. Different hospitals have a different time where you can clock in, but generally the earliest you can clock in is like only a couple minutes before. So if you get there super early, you're gonna have to wait and then clock in. Speaking of getting there early, some nurses, depending on what floor you work on, some nurses will like to get to work 30 minutes early, look at their assignment, try to look up some patient information and these are generally ICUs or like patients that would have a very long history that you wouldn't have time necessarily if you got there right at when you're supposed to. So let me explain that a little better. Generally, when you get to work, you do a huddle. And during that huddle, you basically, the charge nurse or the nurse leaders talk about any safety events that might have happened recently, and then you get your assignment. So once you leave huddle, you go to the floor, you go find your assignment, you get report from the nurse who's about to leave. Once you get your report, then you go over orders, you make sure everything looks good, everything that the nurse had just told you is correct. So you want to do all your safety checks. You want to make sure your alarm limits are correct. You want to make sure all your IV fluids are correct. Any dressing that the baby has is still intact. Any IV is not puffy. It's working correctly. So after you get report, that's what you do, safety checks and orders. And then you start your shift. So in the NICU, babies are due at a specific time, usually every 3 hours, starting at either 8 or 9. So you kind of want to plan accordingly for that in the NICU. You'll kind of see which baby you'll go to first and do their care time, and then so on and so forth. So that's generally the schedule of a nurse, kind of the rundown of what your day will look like for both day shift and night shift. And then you leave either when the new nurse is coming on, or sometimes you get busy and you'll have to stay a little longer. You'll have to catch up on charting, but most of the time you will leave on time. That is kind of the rundown of a day-to-day of a nurse. Obviously different units, it differs, but that is the general layout. I also want to quickly mention with the nursing schedule, because you only work 3 days out of 7 days of the week, you do have 4 days which you generally don't have anything unless you know you're in school or you do other things, I don't know. But I just wanted to quickly touch on this and say, yes, it's nice to work only 3 days of the week, but you have to keep in mind, unless you're friends with all nurses and all of you work the exact same days, for the most part, there aren't that many people who have the same days off as you, because most other people work Monday through Friday. If you are going into nursing, I do recommend, you know, doing a hobby, maybe picking up some athletic class, or I don't know, finding something else to do on your days off. So that way you're not getting bored and you just keep yourself occupied. You can also pick up extra shifts. In nursing, you don't get yearly bonuses. You get extra overtime pay, and sometimes they have bonuses if your unit is staffed really short. So you don't really get holiday bonuses. You don't get yearly bonuses. You don't get bonuses generally based on performance. So the only way to get extra money is to work extra shifts. So overtime is considered, you know, once you hit more than 40 hours, then you get paid time and a half for overtime. And then if your hospital decides and they really need staff, they will generally put out a bonus. So on top of your overtime, you'll get a bonus. You'll have to sign a contract and you'll get extra money. But that's generally only if the floor is not staffed well, you have a lot of patients, and it's really unsafe to run at the current, you know, patient to nurse ratio. So they'll send out a bonus to incentivize nurses to come into work. So I just also wanted to mention that because I feel like that's something that new nurses don't really think about, or you don't really think about that for the nursing schedule. But my advice to you guys is just find a hobby, find something to keep you busy, so you're not getting bored on those off days, or yeah, it just makes life more fun. So the next topic I want to talk about is college. So I get a lot of questions for NICU nursing, especially how many years of college do you have to go through? Is it like any other nursing job, or do you have to apply to a different school, or all of those questions. So for the record, any type of nurse you want to be, you have to go through 4 years of college. So there are two types of ways you can get into nursing school. You can either apply straight from senior year into a nursing school and you'll have 4 years of that nursing school, or there are some colleges where you're on the nursing track, you take the prereqs, but you don't apply for the actual nursing school until sophomore year. So those are kind of the generally two ways to get into nursing school. But for any type of nursing, ICU, adult, pediatric, NICU, whatever it is, you have to have graduated from a nursing school and get your BSN, your Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Once you graduate from school, then you decide kind of what unit you want to go into. I have a video about how to get your first job. I will link it up here. But generally, you want to try to get an externship the summer before your senior year. That way, it'll make it way easier to get a job when you graduate. Most likely, the hospital that you got your externship in will hire you on if you like that hospital, if you like that unit. For NICU nursing, that's like my top tip. Get an externship in a NICU. It'll show that you have some experience being in a NICU, because a NICU is a locked unit and generally they allow some observers, but if you don't get your senior capstone in the NICU, or you don't have an externship in the NICU, you really won't get much experience in a NICU. So you need to make that experience for you. You need to get those opportunities to showcase that you're really interested in NICU. There are a bunch of hospitals with residencies as well, straight into the NICU. Again, that's in my how to get your first job video, so make sure you guys check that out. I do have a nursing playlist too, so if you guys ever have any questions, I have a lot of videos in that playlist. I think that's pretty much it for this video. So I talked about college, the two types of nursing school. Like I said, any type of nurse, which is an RN, registered nurse, you have to go graduate and get your BSN, then you have to pass the NCLEX, which is a test to get your license, and then you choose whatever unit you want, whether that's ICU, adult, pediatric, etc. Nursing schedule, you work 3 days out of 7 days of the week, kind of find stuff to do on your off days. They are pretty long shifts. 12 hours is a long time. You do get pretty tired, and you work different hours than most people. You're not working a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. You have to work holidays, you have to work weekends. You kind of have to plan around that. So I hope this video kind of summed up some of that stuff for you guys. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. Always comment down below. I try to reply to as many people as possible, and I love when you guys ask me questions because then it gives me more of a focus for my videos. So any NICU specific, nursing specific, night shift, I have worked day shift, so feel free to ask me stuff about that. And yeah, like I said, I just love answering these questions for you guys, giving you information, giving you like real raw answers and not sugarcoating anything. Like I said before, nursing is tiring, it is exhausting, but it also is rewarding. If you guys are wanting to be a nurse, I wish you good luck in school. with the NCLEX, finding your first job. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and that bell for notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!